Of those events that you described, which one has the highest level of emotion attached to it for you?
Either the boy throwing rocks or my sisters laughing at me.
Okay, let's do both of them. So let's just tap and talk and just tell the whole story. We'll just do tapping and talking. And tell us the story of the boy throwing rocks at you.
I was a kindergartner. It was toward the end of the school year.
Right.
Couple of weeks left.
Right.
And he had been in my class. I don't know that I remember that much about him. He was just kind of a big kid. And I was walking home, walking home from school to my grandmother's house. She used to babysit us after school. And I was walking there, and all of a sudden, I saw him there, and he was kind of like laughing, like, ha ha ha, kind of, laughing, and he had a rock in his hand.
Let's stop right there. Okay, so he's laughing, has a rock in his hand. What's your sad level around that moment in time?
When I first see him there.
You see him and you see he has a rock in his hand, yeah.
Well, I didn't know what it was at first.
Okay.
I didn't think about that
Okay.
at first. So probably a 5.
5, okay.
Yeah.
Just keep on going. Right.
So then he picks it up and he starts to throw it at me. I think there was another boy with him, but the boy didn't do anything. He just watched and laughed, I think. I don't remember that much. And so I remember saying, "Why are you throwing rocks at me? Stop throwing rocks at me." And he just laughed and picked up another one. And I'm running away as fast as I can. Running away from there as he's still trying to dodge the rocks as I'm running. And I kind of think maybe one hit my leg. But I was just running and crying, running home. And do I keep going?
Keep going.
And then I ran home. My grandmother was probably there. I don't think my mother and dad were probably there yet to pick us up. And I don't remember talking to her, but I probably did. And then I remember later on telling my mom and dad, this boy is throwing rocks at me. I have to go back to school. Can you pick me up after school tomorrow? And they said, no, I can't. Mom's like, I have to work, and Dad has to work. And I said, well, can anybody, can Grandma, can Grandpa, can anybody take me? And they said, no, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. It'll be okay. He probably just likes you. That's what boys do. They throw rocks when they like you. And I'm like, but it hurts. It hurts. I'm afraid. I don't want to go back. And they're like, well, you have to. And so I did. And the next day, same thing happened. He threw rocks again. And the next day, same thing happened again. And I would ask my parents if they could come get me, or my sisters could walk, or they were older than me, so they got out of school later. So nobody could walk with me. I had to walk and do it myself. And the only reason it stopped was because school stopped. So I never got the help I wanted.
Yeah. You never got the help you wanted. You asked maybe your sisters could walk home with you, but their school got out later. Mm-hmm. You asked if maybe your grandparents could pick you up, or your parents could pick you up, and no one could do it. Mm-hmm. And so you asked, and no one could help you. Mm-hmm. You had to keep on walking past them, and they kept on throwing rocks. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And just go back again to the moment when you asked your mother and father if they could pick you up, and they couldn't. That seemed like a big spike in your emotion when you talked about that.
Why can't you come get me? I'm scared.
I'm scared.
I don't want to do it myself. I don't want to be there when he throws rocks.
Yeah. I don't want to be there when he throws rocks.
I don't know why he's throwing rocks at me. I didn't do anything to him.
Right. You didn't do anything to him.
Why is he throwing rocks at me?
Yeah.
I remember asking him that, why is he throwing rocks at me?
So why is he throwing rocks at you? You don't know.
I don't know.
Because you've done nothing. Yeah. And so you're asking your mom and dad, and they can't do it, and then you ask if your grandmother or grandfather can do it, pick you up.
And they can't because they watch other kids.
They can't because they watch other kids.
And Grandma she doesn't drive.
Grandmother doesn't drive. Your sisters get out of school later than you. So you have to walk back again, and it's throwing rocks again. And it keeps on going day after day until school ends.
Until school's out.
Yeah.
And I was happy then because he wasn't going to the school I was going to.
Right. He was going to a different school. What do you think about that photograph you have of him? Is it from the yearbook?
Yeah, it was like the school photo.
Yeah, school photo, yeah. When you picture his face, what number are you in terms of emotional distress, 0 to 10?
About a 5.
About a 5, okay.
I just want to hit him.
Yeah. What do you want to say to him?
You're so mean. Why are you so mean?
Why are you so mean? Yeah.
Just so mean. And you laughed. You were mean and you laughed. And it hurt me and you didn't care.
Yeah.
You were mean.
Yeah. So you were mean and you laughed. Not only did you hurt me, but you laughed. Yeah. Why are you so mean?
Why are you so mean?
Yeah.
I didn't do anything to you.
I didn't do anything to you, and you're being so mean to me.
So mean.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you're asking mom and dad, and they can't pick you up. You're asking if your grandparents can pick you up, but your grandmother doesn't drive. They're taking care of other kids. So you're trying to find some way out of the situation. And
I kind of remember that the next day, I guess it was the next day, after school was out, I stayed back. I thought if I stayed back, he would be gone. So I wouldn't have to see him. Maybe he'd go home. So I stayed back, and then I started walking along. I remember walking around along the fence, and then I saw him. He was kind of waiting for me. And then he picked up rocks and started throwing them again.
So the next day you waited, stayed back, but he was waiting for you. He waited too. Picked up rocks and started throwing them to you. Yeah. He was mean to you then, he was mean to you every day you walked back.
I don't remember being able to go home without him being there.
Yes, yeah.
For those days.
Yeah, every time you walked back home, he was there. Yeah. Go ahead and do the 9 gamut. Close your eyes and open them. Eyes hard down to the left. Eyes hard down to the right. eyes in a big circle, follow my pen. Say out loud, he was mean.
He was mean.
Every day he was mean.
Every day he was mean.
He threw rocks at me.
He threw rocks at me.
I stayed behind,
I stayed behind,
hoping he wouldn't be there.
hoping he wouldn't be there.
But he waited for me.
But he waited for me.
He threw rocks at me again.
And he threw rocks at me again.
And he threw rocks at me every day.
And he threw rocks at me every day.
And all my efforts
And all my efforts
to escape from him
to escape from him
didn't work.
didn't work.
I asked my mother to pick me up,
I asked my mother to pick me up.
and that didn't work.
And that didn't work.
I asked my father to pick me up. Don't speak. I'll just speak. You can just move your eyes, tap, and speak normal. And that didn't work. I asked my grandmother could pick me up, but she didn't drive. My grandmother and my grandfather, taking care of other kids, couldn't take care of me. My sisters couldn't do it. They got out of school later. I asked everyone I knew to try and help me, and no one was there for me. And I asked, and all my efforts to try and get help didn't work. He threw rocks at me. He was mean to me. He waited after school so he could throw rocks at me. Even when I waited and hoped he wouldn't be there, he waited for me, and nothing I tried to get away from him worked. I tried my parents, I tried waiting after school. None of the things I tried worked. Okay, a couple of breaths, deep breaths. There you go. Just feel your body, feel your heart. How does your heart feel right now?
It's still beating.
Still beating.
Pretty fast.
Pretty fast, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And my jaw, it's like shivering. My
Mhm.
jaw shivers sometimes when I talk, and my hands shake.
Okay. So, and that's often
That's
true when you're upset.
other things. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's imagine now, let's tap and imagine something. Imagine along with me that you're back there in the scene as your adult version of yourself. So the adult Sandy is now back there in the scene. And she is there with little Sandy, and she's walking back with her, taking care of her. So let's just picture yourself back into that scene right now. So it's after school, little Sandy has to walk back, and there you are, big Sandy, to take care of her. So walk back with her and see what happens.
Do you want me to say it out loud?
Say it out loud. Describe what's happening.
Okay, so little Sandy's big Sandy, and the adult Sandy is smiling at her, and she reaches out to her, take her hand, and she takes her hand and she smiles, and the little boy's over there, But Big Sandy just looks at him. Not mean, just looks at him like, I'm here. So I'm here.
Just takes a look.
Just takes a look. And the others, a little Sandy smiles at the Big Sandy like, okay, this is good. And they just walk hand in hand and they're both smiling.
Good. So the safe
She feels safe. She feels happy again.
Good.
She's a happy little girl, generally.
Good. Yeah. So she is a happy little girl generally.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. She just likes to play and laugh and
And now she's got her happiness back because Big Sandy's there for her.
Yes.
Right. So let's go back in time and do the next day and the next day. Let's just do it day after day.
Okay.
And let's see what happens when Big Sandy's there for her every single day. So it's now, that was day 2, now it's day 3.
She comes out of school and she sees her there. And she's there waiting for her, smiling. And they're skipping now.
Good.
She's skipping. And just telling her about her day and what she did.
And then as they walk back, what happens? Are they still holding hands?
Yeah, they hold hands the whole way.
Right. Does the boy come back, or was that one look enough to put him in his place?
He's there. But he's envious.
Okay.
He's envious.
He's envious. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
he wishes somebody would be there for him.
Yeah.
He doesn't have anybody to be there for him.
Right.
So that's why he's envious.
Yeah. There's no one there for him.
There's nobody there for him.
Yeah. Well, why don't you just go ahead and install a big version of him there for him as well?
Okay.
To hold his hand and play with him and tell him it's okay, and it doesn't have to be mean to get attention, that he can get love. It's enough love for everybody.
So now I see him with his person.
Okay.
And we're walking the one direction. And they're walking the other direction.
Okay.
And he smiles and waves.
Good. Smiles and waves at you. Good.
And I wave back.
And you wave back. Yeah. So you have your protector, your big version. He has his big version, his protector as well. Yeah, good. Now, imagine if you could have your big version of you in every memory, in every one of those memories. So when your sisters were maybe going to laugh at you because of the cast on your arm, if your big version could be there. If your big version could be there during the dance recital, if your big version could be there, all of these times. And whenever you need to, just call on the big version. That big version is right there for you. So just tap in the feeling of that big version being there for you. So whenever you need that protector, that big version is there for you in every childhood memory.
Okay.
Yeah. How does your body feel now?
Better.
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 Yeah.
I'm still shaky, but I'm
You're
cold, but that's
right.
That's normal for me.
That's the air conditioning.
Yeah, it's the air conditioning. Yeah. I feel calmer. Definitely
calmer, yeah.
inside. My heart rate's back down to normal again.
back down to
calm.
calm. Okay, good. And your hands, how are they?
They're fine. They're
Fine,
good.
okay, good,
Yeah, they're
good.
calm again. They're not shaky.
Good. Calm again
A
too.
little shaky just because I'm here.
Right.
They're looking at me. But
Right.
my thing is, what will people think? So. Yeah,
Right. What will people think? Right. Good. Let's take a breath. And so what you can do in exercises in the rest of the workshop is you can work on those other table legs. And then also those core beliefs about having to be a good girl. If you're not a good girl, people don't like me. See how those shift. Those might start to change. People might like you however you are. I've noticed people actually really do like you however you are. So I feel you're going to have a lot of contradictory experiences there, that they like you however you are. When you're happy, when you're sad, when you're helpless, when you're capable, they'll be there for you.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure. Just sit here for a moment. I just want to talk a little bit about that session and share what was happening, why I did what I did, and also check in with you to see if some of my intuitions were correct. So I did something there that's unusual in EFT. We do it in level 3 sometimes, but I brought in the protector, because what I saw in Sandy doing the 9 gamut is she was the last child. She was going right back in time to that point. If you listen to her language carefully, she was going back into the present tense. And I'm running away from the boy. I mean, she looked at her eyes, she was crying, and she wasn't saying, I was running away from the boy. This wasn't happening. That idea when the past is always present. She said, I am running away from the boy. She's right there in the trauma capsule, in which all of the sights, sounds, sensory channels of the trauma are being encoded, and they're frozen in present time. They're frozen in the now. She's in the now experience of that boy throwing rocks at her. I looked at her eyes, and she didn't look as though she was even seeing the here and now and the room. She's completely back in the trauma capsule. So I was doing the 9 gamut. I was doing the 9 gamut slowly. I was doing all the best EFT stuff, and it still wasn't really connecting with her because she was so deep in the trauma capsule. So I realized she needed more resources, and the resource was Big Sandy, the big version of herself, which she could easily invoke. And so I tested that idea, and she just took to it right away, very, very readily. She was able to picture the big version of herself and draw in the resource of a version with far more resources than that 4-year-old version of herself. So there's always that component, and that the person might be able to imagine an older version of themselves. If they believe in guardian angels, then they picture a guardian angel or a guide of some kind, an archetype, a hero from history, whatever's meaningful to the client. Whether that archetype, that guide, that spirit guide, whatever it is, whether it's an objective reality or not, doesn't matter. Therapeutically, it's useful. It's just useful because it connects with the client. And I thought of asking her about a guardian angel or something, but I thought, well, even better, make it me, make it who I really am, which is adult Sandy. So put adult Sandy back in the scene, and she was very easily able to do that, put adult Sandy back in the scene, and it was immediately calming for her. So she began to then come out of that trauma capsule of just floundering around in that present tense experience and be able to find the strength from this connection with Big Sandy to walk through and have a sense of safety through the experience as the two of them. So that really seemed to land for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Definitely. Yeah. Good. And so then you can bring that persona into other events as well. But I would recommend you do that, because what I see is that those experiences really traumatized you deeply. They went in deep. Again, 4 years old, that's where in that theta delta brainwave learning trance, and that's a deep emotional learning going in below the level of language. This wasn't somebody yelling at her or screaming at her or saying bad things to her. This is somebody throwing rocks at her. So perceived threat to your survival. Again, she tried to reach out, tried to find help to the best her 4-year-old could. Can grandma pick me up? Can grandpa pick me up? Can mom pick me up? Can dad pick me up? My sisters do it. I mean, she tried every possible way to get help and couldn't do it. So those 4 conditions of traumatizing events, one of them is a feeling of powerlessness and aloneness. She felt totally alone in that situation. And all her best efforts to get help, which are pretty good for a 4-year-old, were unsuccessful. And now she's totally alone, facing this not just once, but day after day after day after day. So it meets all those 4 qualifications for a traumatizing event, and it's this very early age in which those learned memories are sinking in very, very deep. So that's why I think that if we could have done EFT for a long time, not got very far on this without that bringing in of a protective force of another dimension of yourself to help you through that stage. So that's why I brought in that adult version of you, and why I'd recommend in working on all of these things, you bring in the adult version. I think you'll need that adult version to help you move through the trauma capsule. But once that adult version of you looked very, very unusually able to help you move through it. It really seemed to help you.
And I like that part, that it's the adult me, because that gives more empowerment
to you.
To me.
Yeah, right.
Rather than relying on somebody else.
Right. Yeah. And so that means you can rely on yourself for help in your current day challenges as well. So, yeah.
Much better. I like that it was nice to the little boy at the end, too. So.
I know, yeah. Rather than you weren't going to throw rocks back at him or tell Big Sadie to go beat him up. You were.
I didn't do that.
And there was a bit of a loss. Christine reminds me, she says, Dawson, you need to tell people when you do these sessions that you don't know what's going on. You're just doing EFT and, following the client's lead, and you don't know. It's like when you said, now the little boy's there and he's crying, and you were saying he was probably abused because of the Band-Aid on his nose that you'd seen in the picture, and so then you were getting back into identifying with him because you're so sensitive, and then you're back into being lost in the trauma that he was experiencing. So I was really floundering myself. Well, what do I do now? Give me inspiration.
That was good inspiration.
So I thought, if the Big Sandy worked for her, maybe the big, Band-Aid dose could work for him too. And
that's great. You got somebody to go home with too. So that was good.
Yeah. So him getting protection and help as well, strength. Good for you. Good. So you now have free dispensation to dish out protection and strength to anyone else as well as yourself.
Thank you.
Your child, thank you.
Thank you.